Do you know what really sucks? Is sitting down to edit your project and realizing that you have gaps in your coverage or shots missing. You need to have a really good, specific, and detailed shot list. Head over to filmmakerssecrets.com/shot list, SHOTLIST, to get a killer shot list template along with some training where I show you step by step exactly how to use it.
I jumped into this. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I got, good people and I asked questions and I was never afraid to say, I don't know, but you have to just decide you're going to do it and not be afraid.
Filmmakers have the power to evoke emotion, inspire thought, and drive universal change in this world. Right now, a real seismic shift is happening in the film industry. This is your best chance to join a new filmmaking movement. You have been called to create an everlasting impact with your unmatched, deep desire to tell authentic stories. So how does a filmmaker thrive in an environment that is almost intentionally designed to bring you down? That is the question, and this podcast reveals the answer. What's happening, filmmakers? It's George VK. Welcome to Filmmaker Secrets podcast, episode number 51. I am so excited to introduce my two guests this week, Linda McQuade and Phillis Ramie. So let's start with you, Phillis. Go ahead and say what's up to our filmmakers and reveal the one filmmaker secret that you have been keeping from us.
Well, I think that for me personally, it's been, don't be afraid. It's like, I jumped into this. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I got, good people and I asked questions and I was never afraid to say, I don't know. But you have to just decide you're going to do it and not be afraid.
That's great. Linda, what about you?
I agree. Hey, what's up, film world? I'm Linda McQuade. I agree with Phillis a lot. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, we're complete rookies when we took on Artie and Paul, but we're able to find the best team. And honestly, I think the filmmaker's secret is find the team who has the same goal in mind. Make sure that everyone wants to do this project, that they feel the same way about it, that they're as passionate and as driven, and be flexible too. We had to, COVID made things really hard on this project, but not impossible. We had to find new locations, or we had to even find new people when somebody got the coronavirus. And we panicked a couple of times, but it's just, you got to keep moving forward and be flexible. And the film community here is so supportive and so nice. Sometimes I was just sheepish reaching out like, hey, I'm a complete rookie and I know you do a lot of film here. But you'll be surprised about how much people want to help you. Even if they can't directly offer their services on a project, they probably know somebody who can.
It doesn't hurt to ask, right?
It never hurts to ask. Yeah. I used to be like, oh, no, don't do it. They're so high above me. But the worst they can say is no.
Exactly. I love how both of your secrets kind of coincide with each other. It shows a working relationship already. So I'd love to get into the project that the two of you shot over the pandemic. But before I do that, take me back, Phillis, to that moment where you had the spark to become an actor, to tell stories, to be within this kind of crazy filmmaking world this crazy industry that we're in. What was that moment like? Tell us that story.
Well, yeah. As far as my acting career, I've been around for a while and I have done a lot of things in my life. And then I found myself in San Diego a few years ago and decided to take my first acting class. And I was also lucky enough to get my first film role. And when I got to that film set and was on that film set, I felt like, oh, I'm home. This is where I belong. And ever since then, I'm just chasing that. I'm chasing that idea of I belong on a film set and I want to tell stories in this medium. So that was the first spark.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny when you're on a film set and there is that sort of ethereal kind of feeling of like,
being, belonging is one of the greatest needs of humanity, and really wanting to be part of a tribe. And when you're on a film set, I think all filmmakers universally feel this way, is that you feel like this is your family, everybody's working towards a common goal. And that also ties into your Filmmaker Secret, Linda, with, finding the right crew. What has been that spark for you in the past? You and I attended college together, and we worked on a couple of projects in the past. What was that moment that you made the decision you're going to be a filmmaker?
Yeah, totally. I'm like a lot of actors. We always say, like, I was meant to do this. I knew at a really young age I wanted to act. So, I did theater at UC Denver, even though I was not a theater major. I loved it so much, and I enjoy being on stage, and I enjoy telling stories and being able to just, so I had this problem of like, I can't really decide on a career or like a hobby. So I jump all over the place. And the cool thing about acting is, and I'll steal these words from my friend Ansel, who's an actor, and he was actually recently on an episode of Euphoria on HBO.
Wow.
But it gives you the ability to just try out all these things in life that you just don't have enough time in life to pursue. I've been a nun. I've been a lover in Shakespeare. I've auditioned for being a prostitute, and most recently I got to play a Greek goddess in Artie and Paul, our project. And the reason I wrote Artie and Paul was I'm taking an acting workshop, and they brought an agent in. And they signed pretty much like everybody at my workshop except for me. I was complaining about it to my coach. And he said, but what are you doing for your acting career? Like, why aren't you making your own work? Why are you waiting for somebody else? And I said, he's right. I'm not the kind who likes to just sit around and wait for somebody else to make my life for me. And I'd always had this vision in my head of these Greek gods trying to fit in the real world and go to high school and fit in. And so I wrote the project in 2016.
And, what is it, like six years later or so, it has seen the light of day. So let's get into it. Yeah. What was that launching point like? How did the two of you connect? Give me a little bit of a backstory for this project.
Well, I mean, I can say Linda, obviously she wrote it, and there was a lot of stuff that happened before I came on. I came onto this project. I auditioned for a part. That was it. I was auditioning for a part, and I booked it, and I was like really excited, and I really liked the idea of it. And, Linda, presented herself as the creator. She wrote it as well as starring in it. And I was like, this is awesome. I like this person. I think this is going to be a great project. I was really excited at that level. And then I had also been looking for a project to back financially. I was looking for something that I could invest in and, create something, because, I had the funds available. And so I reached out to Linda, and I said, I'm interested in funding this. And we took it from there. There was a lot of missteps along the way. That was like a year and a half ago or something. That was like fall of the previous year, fall of 2020. We took a stab at pre-production in fall of 2020.
Wow.
And things just fell apart real fast, and we had to regroup.
Like they do.
It blew up in our face. And, I was sure that the project was over. I'm like, I gave it my best shot, but I contacted Phillis, and she's like, I want to move forward. And I was like, man, like Phillis is like my guardian angel. Like she's the reason this project moved forward, is that she is so tenacious and wanted to get it done. And that's the best way to describe it. It's like, we're getting it done. Like,
no matter what.
Cut the crap. We're getting it done. And so we took up pre-production again in 2021.
Yeah.
Found like the most amazing director.
I think it was the spring of 2021. Yeah. We started up again.
Yeah.
We revamped it. We changed the name. We changed a few things around. So it was nominally sort of a new project, but very much based on the previous project.
Yeah.
That's great.
Got an amazing crew. And then we're like, pre-production took a while. I'd say locations were tough, but we managed to find locations. And I think our timing happened to be just right. And that we're sort of in that sweet spot between variants of coronavirus where things loosen up just slightly. And we started filming in August of 2021. So it's been a journey.
That's fantastic. That leads really well into my next question about the sort of, the biggest roadblocks that you've had. And before we get into that, I'm going to quickly admit Rob into this call so that we can get a perspective from the director. But the biggest thing with, I think, leading up to your first shoot day is all of that preparation and all that anticipation that you have. How's it going, Rob? Welcome to the call.
Hey,
George.
You got a haircut?
I did. It's been so long since I've seen you guys.
I know.
It looks great. You look fantastic. How are you, Rob?
I'm doing well. It's the new year is starting off very busy, which I'm very appreciative of. How are you doing, George?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Phillis, what was the biggest challenge that that you faced with? There's always something that's going wrong, obviously, with the film set, with pre-production, things fall through. What was the biggest roadblock that you had and how did you overcome it?
By saying, what email? No. So on our first shoot, we had gone through this whole process. It was very, very difficult to find the right location for our first shoot. It was a very specific kind of thing. We had a lot of people and we just needed it to look a certain way. And we found what we needed up in Boulder. At the Sunrise Amphitheater, which is a gorgeous, it's just this gorgeous place. And we had to go through so many hoops and things to get it set up through the city of Boulder and getting permissions and getting permits and all of this kind of stuff. And we wanted to do everything very, very by the book. 20 minutes into our reserved time at the location, there was an email that said, sorry, you can't shoot there. And, my first reaction was like, oh my God, shut it down. Ah! And then, Rob was like, terrific. He basically was like, let's just, what email? I didn't check my email. And we shot basically pretty much all night. And then we left and, what's done is done.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission, right?
Exactly.
It's, like knowing that, we kind of thought about like, what are the most important things that we need to shoot first? So like, let's say they came halfway through and kicked us out. It's like, well, we don't have all the coverage, but we have enough coverage to at least build out the scene, So
we got what we needed.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so stressful. I mean, it was already cold. Like we're all doing an overnight shoot, but the entire time we're like looking around the trees, like, are they coming to get us? Are they coming to get us?
And nobody
they never
came.
did.
Do you feel it had an effect on sort of the overall vibe or the final product with, going through that process in a completely different mindset where you're not sure if you're actually, if the next moment, during the next take, you're going to get kicked out. Do you think that had an effect on the final product in the end?
I don't think so.
We didn't tell the actors.
Yeah, we didn't.
Okay.
We tried to keep it like guys, let's just keep it between us. Like nobody has to know.
Mm-hmm.
I basically blotted out that piece of my mind that had seen the email. I was like, what email? Yeah, let's go. Let's continue on. And like Rob said, he was aware. So he knew as the director, these are the shots we need to get to make sure that we have enough in the off chance that somebody actually comes up here in the middle of the night to kick us out.
That's fantastic. So we're going to work towards wrapping up here. This would be a fantastic conversation for hours and hours. I think I would love to get all three of you, maybe maybe some of the cast, some of the crew, back on the Filmmaker Secrets podcast. But where can our filmmakers go to check out anything about what it is that you are working on, or maybe there's some preliminary sneak peeks or anything that you would like to share with the filmmakers so that they can get familiar with your work?
I want to hear Rob's filmmaker secret.
I'm still waiting on it too.
Okay. Do you want me to answer that now, or should we talk about?
Go ahead. Yeah, Rob, you're on.
So yeah, I think the biggest thing was just trying to create a sense of consistency in it, because it's a pilot for a show. So even though it's essentially going to be 25 minutes, we shot it over the course of, I think, 3 months, just with like a shoot date here and then a few weeks later.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months. So,
wow.
And, we jump back to some locations. And so it was just like, I really had to figure out a way to kind of visually and just like conceptually keep it consistent in my head. And that, I don't know what the secret would distill down to, but I think it's just like constantly reading the script and knowing what is happening beforehand and after, because like, when I'm doing a scene, it's like, I want to make sure I know what happened in the previous scene and what's going to happen afterwards, even if what we shot was, 2 months ago. That way, because, on set, it's easy for people to be like, how does this all fit together? Or like, what's happening next? I don't get it. And it's like, if I can just answer that immediately and quickly, then it kind of dissipates any confusion.
That goes into the teamwork that, like, again, this is the dream team, man. I love Phillis and Rob and the amazing people we brought on board, like Brad Cousy and Jessica Ham, just amazing people. But because it was a pretty small crew, like we really had to have each other's backs, like with continuity, with continuity, basically. Like, hey man, that was not in the last shot. Like, okay, cool, I got you. Mm-hmm. So that helps too, with just all of us understanding the story and the script and how it's supposed to look, I think was really important too.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. All these insights are fantastic. I think, any listener, no matter what level you're at, there's always going to be some sort of nugget that you take away. And it's about being hyper aware and just truly, falling in love with your story every day. It's not about loving the story. It's about falling in love with it, continuing to fall in love with it every single day, because it's going to be difficult. There's going to be all kinds of things that go wrong. It's just inevitable, but it's up to the filmmaker to really find those solutions, and fast, because you don't have time to dilly-dally. Yeah. That's amazing and fantastic and all around just intriguing. And I want to know more. I want to hear more. So is there anywhere that we can check out any sort of links that I can include in the show notes?
Well, right now we're in post-production, and so we don't actually have anything up and available yet. But
IMDb?
What?
IMDb, is that up?
I mean, we have our IMDb page up, so you can always, check that out to see who was involved in the project. And, just have us back on in a few months and we'll have something for you.
Perfect. I'm going to set the calendar in right now.
Again, just working, like not being afraid to say no. We got Misha Collins from Supernatural to do a cameo.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
On this project, which was all Phillis. Again, it's just being brave and Sorry, just had to throw that out there.
He's a good guy.
I have my final question for you, and this one's a doozy. Rob is familiar. What is your deserted island movie? So if you can only watch one film for the rest of your life, what would it be? Linda, you're up.
Hot Shots. I don't know if you guys know that movie.
Hot Shots. Nice.
It's a Top Gun spoof.
Can it be a series? I can't do a movie. I could do a series.
I'll give you a series. Yeah.
Sense8.
Okay.
Not Supernatural?
Nope.
I'm shocked.
Fantastic. I should have done Supernatural. They have 327 episodes. That would be ideal.
Never get bored.
Yeah.
Rob, has yours changed since the last time?
So I'm sure last time I said The Lord of the Rings, and I count that as one movie, even though it's 3. I know that's a controversial opinion, but can I give you another one?
Please.
If I got 2 movies, my second one would be Amadeus, which is such a perfect, amazing movie. So
good choice. Yeah, right on. Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks to all three of you for being on the Filmmaker Secrets podcast. I'll make sure to have the IMDb page in the show notes. So Filmmakers, please go ahead and check it out. I appreciate your time and your insights. This has been a fantastic talk.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, George.
Thanks, George. It's good to see you again. Bye, Phillis. Bye, Rob.
If you like that, then you are going to love my Cine Racing Challenge. This is a 7-day filmmaking competition where your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to write, shoot, and edit a short 60-second film in just 7 days for your one chance to win with over $10,000 in prizes. So head over to cineracing.com. That's cineracing.com to get registered. Spots are filling up fast and the timer is ticking before the next Cine Racing Challenge launches. So be sure to head over to cineracing.com right now to get registered. I'll see you over there.